Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Vic and Trail already flaming me, low key. Mr. Z is here. Mr. Z is here. Um, my apologies. I'm just have to have a welcome back track or a I'm sorry. And I want to say it how if any one of us, I don't know if any of y'all saw the skits. I think Cameron used to be on a show with Brandy and Eve, and so there was like a bunch of skits that they were doing to kind of promote the show. And there's one where Brandy is freestyling in the mirror, and she's freestyling to Cameron, and she said the part where Cameron said got the computers pewing, and she's like, computers pewing, what does that even mean? And she looks in the mirror, and Cameron is standing behind her, and she turned around and she say, I sorry. And I think I'm gonna use that. I want to use that as a sound drop for every time I'm late. Just I sorry. For any of y'all that ever seen that, I might be talking to myself right now because I don't know how many people ever saw that skit. Okay. For those of you that checked it out, oh boy, Ole had the friends on, right? Ole and friends, and shout out to Ole. And you know, they spoke about swirling. They spoke about, excuse me, the carceral state. And I really got to check out the Asian young lady. I've watched a couple of her think pieces. Excuse me. That FD brought up. Once again, the Asian young lady out of Canada that FD brought up, Oli Sunvia, and see her think piece about feminism and pretty much prison and like locking men up, which I'm sorry to tell y'all is a part of feminism, right? It's a part of feminism, getting all the undesirable men, all the eyesores out the way, right? So yeah, she got some, and she was actually, from my understanding, the way FD frames it is that she was actually kind of getting on women for this, and like, are y'all sure this is what y'all, are y'all really feminists? Are y'all sure this is the direction y'all want to go in? Yes, to that Asian young lady, yes. That's some really dark spots that y'all hold up the banner for some of these ideologies or some of these philosophies or some of these ways of thinking, and y'all never really investigate the ugly dark parts of it. That's why y'all over here trying to run away from quote unquote white feminism. No, you can't run from these parts, using the state to regulate men for women. Huh? And by the way, if you live in a Western country and you're a woman of color, if you want to use the state to regulate men, particularly men of your same racial or ethnic background, then guess what you're really saying? What you're really saying is you're using white men to regulate black men or Latino men, or whether it's Asian men in a Western country or whoever. Yeah, that part. Uh-oh. And let's be very clear, way more women of color than y'all like to admit are perfectly okay with that. Huh? Okay. So I watched this and so I just want to say sorry in advance to all of you that that were not prepared for Herbie and Quaytan. Quaytan is a trans woman to, or man to woman, better yet. And I think there should be a whole think piece about why there seems to be, and I'm almost certain it's actually the case, that there's far more trans man to women than there are trans women to men, right? And that might be a finance thing, and quite frankly, in the black community, I think it's a social and political thing. But I'm gonna wait and see how long it's gonna take leftists to kind of start to snoop around and investigate why this might be a thing, and be honest on why they think it's a thing. Uh-oh. Huh? Once again, why does it at least seem like, and I'm almost certain the numbers back this up, that there's far more men transitioning to women than there are women transitioning to men, particularly in this era. Oh, huh? So let's actually start with the main thing. Um, Quaytan, and that's the trans man to woman, um, was speaking about trauma, and maybe it's trauma that's causing these women, these swirler divester types, um, to sound the way they do about black men so negatively, and sound the way they do about white men in particular, once again, laudatory. No, it's lifestyle, it's not trauma. Why is it so difficult for y'all to grapple with hypergamy and women with hypergamy? That's the women that are high school dropouts all the way to the women in the corner office. Huh? Why is it so difficult for y'all to grapple with a lot of people? Yes, that's women. Yes, that's women on the left. Do a whole lot of talking about what they believe and think and feel, but in reality, for their actual individual lifestyle, huh? These women feel like they're denied white womanhood. That's why here in the Black manosphere, we call it the myth of white womanhood. In other words, black women from varying educational and class backgrounds outside of a very niche, small, very leftist side of the political spectrum. That's women of color, including black women, who aspire for upper middle class white womanhood. And that's upper middle class and above white womanhood, once again. Huh? It's as if y'all ideology, your worldview, your feminist or quote unquote womanist, um, neo-Marxist, whatever the hell worldview is so paramount. It's what you think of. It's in the background. It's the air you breathe so much. You can't conceive of women who ostensibly really quote unquote believe what they're saying right up until it comes down to them in their intimate personal life. Then their lifestyle over everything. And the white man is the representation of the lifestyle. It doesn't matter whether she can afford it herself. It doesn't matter whether she's educated or not. It doesn't matter her accomplishments and her status. Yeah, that sounds nice. I want the man who's quote unquote equally yoked. And when they say that, they actually mean above me. Right? Huh. Why is this so difficult to actually grapple with? I'm watching a bunch of people on the panel. None of these people are dumb. A whole bunch of them master's degrees and whatnot. But when it comes to this black man, black women thing, y'all theorizing and philosophizing and quote unquote bloviating, right? And pontificating. And there's moments here where they're essentially admitting everything we say in the black manosphere. But remember what FD said to me. What did FD say to me? Essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, yeah, but it's the way y'all say it. It's y'all angle. Huh? It's the way we say it. It's the way we sound. It's our angle. Translation. Z, y'all don't speak to them nice. Y'all hurt their feelings. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. Oh boy, if that's not the feminine. Huh? Meanwhile, Herbie over here is saying Negroes ain't ish every 5 seconds, and that's perfectly okay. Exactly, Trail. Y'all scaring away the hoes. Exactly, and that's pretty much what FD and I want to say not so much consciously. FD, Professor Odie, right, and the like. I think that's their angle, right? Right message, wrong messenger. Exactly, Saint Cyr, right? And even with the message, I don't know. I don't even think FD would really say right message per se. He would say, "Y'all have a point, but I'm gonna reframe that because I still don't like the angle you're coming from. You have a point, like factually, you have a point, but your point is fueled from a negative place." Oh boy, huh? It's really the adage: a broken clock is right twice a day. So they're saying, okay, you're still broken as hell, but you might be right on this. Your angle sucks. Your whole worldview is trash, but you are right about this. So we're just gonna take that from you and not go away, huh? So once again, to Quay Tan, I say this, and to Herbie, and to all of these people on the panel, which once again, I'm not saying they're geniuses, but they're not dumb. Lifestyle. Why is that so difficult for y'all to? We live in a capitalist society. A bunch of leftists on a goddamn panel talking. We live in a capitalist society that teaches young folks and just about everybody boomer age and younger to find your humanity, especially extras and younger, to find your humanity through things. It pushes materialism, it pushes consumerism, especially to the girls. And by the way, that's not just Z saying that. That's your researchers saying that. Once again, it pushes lifestyle to the girl. I didn't say women, to the girls before they become adult women. Huh? Consumerism to the girls in particular. So I'm watching a bunch of leftists not bring that part up. And then we wonder why they have a difficult time. Not really. They ignore that these women are not experiencing trauma from black men. And it's not trauma, it's lifestyle. They're angry they can't live. A man is not providing them with the lifestyle. There we go. That's the issue. And Olay and FD kind of spoke to this later on in that conversation. Yes, right? Because you had Quay Tan and Irby and a little bit of foreign man in a foreign land, and they're kind of doubting what Olay is saying and what FD is saying. And Olay is saying, no, 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 no. Understand something. These women's issue with black men is that black men are not performing white manhood, essentially. Their issue with black men is that black men are not up to par. Uh-oh. Huh? Y'all think that's just a little niche. No, they're loud about it. Shout out to the Roger Report. And the difference between a divester and your standard black woman is what now? Let's just say the standard black woman doesn't necessarily hate black men. Uh-oh. FD speaks about the collection of black women online that are gathering online and they're fetishizing about white men, right? And to that I say yes, because once again, white men represent the lifestyle. White men represent the lifestyle. Huh? And FD goes on to say this is something that essentially hasn't really been critiqued and reported on. Yes, because y'all spent the past 5 or so decades lecturing down to black men. Y'all didn't have any time to really critique black women in their behavior, their misbehavior, their sexism, their misandry. No, the state, leaders, and thinkers in the black community have all been marshaled to regulate the Negro, black men. Huh? Y'all admit y'all put the thumb on the scales for the women and then wonder why 25% of your young men are marrying outside the race, the ones that are married. I wonder. I wonder why, huh? Who would have thunk it? Y'all admit y'all put the thumb. I watch Alvin say it. I watch FD say it. I watch Foreign Man in a Foreign Land say it. I watch Conscious Lee say it. A bunch of black leftists admitting that essentially they put the thumb on the scales for black women. Always Herbie, always lecturing down the black men, straight black men. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. No, I'm not. Not literally get into it. Oh boy. Y'all will see why I said that in a minute. Y'all are admitting y'all putting the thumb on the scales and y'all tipping the scales in black women's favor when it comes to the discourse and the conversation about black men and black women and their intimacy or lack thereof, and their relationships or lack thereof, particularly their intimate relationships. Y'all are admitting that. Y'all have been, and your forefathers that went around the same ideological train, and your foremothers that went around the same ideological train, coming out of the civil rights movement, everybody admits this. And then you wonder why your black men with the resources and the wherewithal more and more are marrying out. I didn't say dating out. Huh? And I'm awful says, why does Foreign Man think he's qualified to speak on another group's relationship dynamics? I think he spent time in the US. He spent time in the US, particularly I think college years, right? If I'm not mistaken. And what's going on, Wolf? Right? Irby continues to say Negroes ain't ish. Irby, and shout out to my Haitians and Jamaicans, Irby is Haitian Jamaican, right? Haitian on his dad's side, Jamaican American on his mom's side. He said something along the lines of his mom was born and raised here, but I guess her parents, so his grandparents are Jamaican, and his dad is Haitian. And so when he was saying that, Ole was like, "Oh, okay, oh, wow, okay," and kind of was somewhat sympathetic to why Irby was saying Negroes ain't ish. Look, I am Haitian descent, grew up around a bunch of Jamaicans. No, Irby is saying that, and same thing with Quaytan. And I'm gonna actually, and this is when I was saying I'm gonna get into it. Not really. So figuratively speaking, getting into this, Quaytan speaks on her and other trans black women being taught not to even look in a black man's way because somehow we're more antagonistic to the whole LGBTQ, particularly the T part of LGBTQ, right? And so they're raised they're taught don't even give any type of suggestion or any type of anything to any black man, right? Lest you be harmed or whatnot. Okay, fine. And she says there builds a resentment there. And she should have oh boy. See, once you say there builds a resentment there, I say F you and screw your resentment. Straight black men don't owe you our presence. Straight black men don't owe you us gender bending or sexually experimenting sexually. And no. If straight black men are not making fun of you, They're definitely not harming you physically. They're not about that lifestyle. They're staying away. The problem is what? You're building resentment because straight black men are staying straight black men. They're not necessarily bullying you. They're not making fun of you. They're not pointing and mocking you. They're just staying the hell away because that's not their life. And then once again, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So they stay the hell away, and that's building resentment because how insulting is it to always expect straight black men to bend and break themselves because intersectionality has informed us that y'all have patriarchal privilege. And so for you to show that you're progressive, and for you to show that you're not a threat, you have to be the one to overextend yourself so that I can feel safe. No. Stay over there piping white dudes then. That's cheating on their white wives with you. Oops. Huh? When Quaytan said that, when he was, it's the rigmarole. Okay, fine, yeah, okay. You're taught, and other black trans women are taught to not even look at straight black men because whatever. Okay, fear of violence and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, cool. And there builds a resentment. And once she said builds a resentment, I said, how dare y'all build a resentment? Why? Because these Negroes are staying away. She didn't even have the courtesy to lie and say, "Oh, well, because they make fun of us and they mock us and they." What, Negroes are staying away? Trill. That part too, Trill. That part too, probably. Right? And she admitted it builds resentment. And I'm like, oh, how dare y'all? Oh, boy. It builds resentment. And I want to say Irby said something similar in a think piece once, or he either said that on his own channel or he said that on Khadijah's channel too. Or it was something, either it was him or it was another LGBTQ, particularly the gay black man, who said something along the lines of like, it's not even that brothers be making fun of them or mocking them, it's that brothers just stay away. And I'm like, wait a minute, so straight black men, all gay black men, brotherhood, like y'all are still our brothers, right? But like now, so let me get this right. Corey Holcomb said something along the lines once where they used to bully LGBTQ brothers, right? They used to, he said it, he was like, he didn't know better, coming up in Chicago, et cetera, and he kind of showed some contrition there, but that's what they used to do. We went from that era, he's an Xer, to now brothers are just staying away. Brothers is not pointing and laughing and making fun of and bullying and beating up necessarily. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. It may happen, but that's not a thing anymore. Okay, cool. And y'all saying y'all having a problem with that too? Y'all didn't even say that dudes is looking at y'all and sneering, right? Y'all are saying dudes is just staying away, and y'all have a. By the way, this is something that certain black women say also about straight black men. I recall a Canadian sister who called into Yanni's channel a couple years ago, speaking about a black male co-worker like that also. Like, he just stays away and he hangs around the white dudes, and I mean, not the white dudes, she said white girls and all the non-black girls and all the non-black women, and he stays away from me and he doesn't, he never talked to me. And yeah, by the way, she did sound like she was a little off her rocker. I'm making fun, but I'm also being pretty accurate in her delivery. And they speak as if there's some entitled. Y'all are the ones who are essentially say, get down with the matriarchy, gynocracy, if we want to be accurate, and kiss our ass. And those brothers are saying, no. And they're staying away. Y'all are the one who are intellectualizing your misandry, and you want these brothers to stay by and just be there. Absolutely not. And Line says, isn't being left alone what they wanted? Mm. To be honest with you, I think people want who they want and they want that when they want. So I think some of those trans brothers, right? Some of those and sisters, some of those LGBTQ brothers and sisters, I think that they want you there when they want you there. They want black men there when they want black men there, right? There's a pun in their line. I ain't even gonna read that out loud, right? Because I'm pretty sure sometimes it do be tough after. Anyway, right? I think they want you there when they want you there. I think they want to go experiment and have fun with LGBTQ white dudes or DL white dudes. And if and when that doesn't work, they want to have a black man fallback plan. Huh? They want a black man fallback plan. And how dare you not bend your sexuality, not bend your gender, not bend what you're attracted to for them? Am I my brother's keeper? Anyway, right? And by the way, this is why, well, some of the reason why we understand the institutions, right? But some of the reason why, this is why black men stay away. We're not in church. We're not in some of these schools. We're not in white collar spaces in any significant number. Y'all can have that and deal with the non-black people that figuratively kick y'all ass, right? And be by yourself. Once again, recall all of the black women complaining about anti-blackness in these white collar spacers, excuse me, um, anti-blackness in these white collar spaces. There we go, Z. That many black women have to face alone. Yeah, that's your bad. It's not just white society, although a lot of it is white society. It's not just white society that keeps black men from these spaces. So when you're in those spaces, deal with it by yourself. Once again, even though I have my issues with him, shout out to Stephen A. Smith, who admits that he helped to put on a lot of black women, and he says something they don't like one time, and then they question him and his advocacy for women in the WNBA. It's never enough, Stephen A. Smith. Don't you get it? You're supposed to pay fealty to them every single day, all day. Huh? So the same black women who are okay with white society making sure maybe they're in some of these spaces, but black men are not, particularly straight black men, then complain when they got to face down racist white women in these white collar spaces by their goddamn self. Well, you're bad. When they don't have advocates on their own side. And then what we hear on the other side of that? Well, did you know that black women are the fastest growing entrepreneurial group in America? They're slowly outpacing black men. Yeah, y'all don't got a job. Y'all don't got a choice. Huh? Build resentment. And even to that, to Quay Tan, aren't there brothers that's down with the LGBTQ lifestyle, straight presenting black men? Oh, there's not enough. Oh, yeah, yeah. Huh? Quay Tan also says, because when she speaks about, when Quay Tan, that's the trans woman, speaks about the resentment that builds from these trans black women, because they're told to pretty much stay away from black men, and not even look in black men's direction. And she speaks about the resentment that builds up because of that. Ole challenges her, and she says, well, these women are working on it, right? Working on their resentment. And she said it's something that she had to work on. I don't believe you. I'm gonna be straight up. I don't believe you. I don't believe you even based off of this. And I don't believe those women in the background, which, by the way, once again, Quay Tan admits that, and I'm almost certain, because the way she was speaking, I don't think it's just trans women. I think straight black women too, who build up this resentment. They're working on, I guess, getting that toxicity out of them, or that, huh? Oh boy. Yeah, I don't believe you. I don't. Huh? Trauma. No, y'all resent not being white. Whatever you trauma you have is because these Negroes ain't checking. Working on releasing some of that trauma. First of all, trauma for what? You weren't bullied, you weren't made fun of, Negroes just stayed away, and that's traumatic? Huh? Negroes just stayed away, and that's traumatic. Not enough Negroes want to be with a man who transitioned into a woman and now is ostensibly, oh boy, air quotes, a woman. And I'm going to get into, figuratively speaking, I'm going to speak on that in a minute. There we go. See, I didn't say it again. And that's an issue because Negroes stay away? You didn't even have the right mind to lie about it. Like Negroes is bullying LGBTQ brothers, particularly trans. You didn't even have the, you didn't even lie about it. Like, what? Now, Irby speaks on and kind of wags his finger and chastises straight black women and says, you know, one of the issues that they have, that he has, is that straight black men are far too much in gay black men's sex lives and in their bedrooms, right? And what they do in private, not this black man. But also one of the issues is that straight black women don't encourage black women, excuse me, yes, straight black women don't encourage black men, straight black men, to see trans women as women. Irby, the majority of women, period, on planet Earth will never do it. That includes black women. I would argue they will, it'll be a cold day in hell. Why? Because y'all will be open competition. And y'all will knock them out of them being able to perform, because now we got to spread this thing way too thin. Oh boy. Y'all are messing with their ideas of femininity, not what men are not what men put on them, but what women want to perform, that straight women want to perform when they want to perform femininity. And you want these women to raise and encourage their sons, their husbands, their nephews, their grandchildren, particularly the boys, that trans women are quote unquote real women. Even y'all concept of self-interest is all type of effed up. What? Y'all live in an alternate universe. You think, including in the black community, you think white women, Latina women, Asian women, black women are going to raise and have the men and boys in their vicinity that trans women are real women? What? I don't even say this to mock or make fun of. That's a real question. Think about what you're asking and what low-key you're kind of demanding straight black women do. Literally, Ole is over here reading to y'all a comment from a divester about how great white men are and how the beauty of white men, one of the biggest beauties of white men is that they pursue her, unlike black men. Yes, and I'm gonna bring up this story in a little bit, in more detail. Unlike black men, what she likes about white men is that white men pursue her. She doesn't have to kick and scream and beg for white men's attention. Black women in this lying projection. Nobody believes you. You hear Ole say that, and then you go on to say that straight black women that feel this way about black men and men in general, white men and black men particularly, you think those same women who are effectively telling you that they struggle with black men are going to raise black men and have black men in their vicinity and tell those black men that trans black women are real women? What? FD, when I said y'all are in y'all bubbles, this is what I meant. Shout out to BGS. Exactly. Y'all can't take this into no goddamn barbershop. What? 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 Y'all are way off the reservation. Way, 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 way. Look, Mr. Z's a leftist, but this right here. There's one thing to have an ideal, to be idealistic. There's another thing to be delusional. And yes, Irby, you can speak. You can play with complex concepts. But once you said that, Herbie, it made you seem very naive and juvenile. Because you occupied that bubble over there in Black Bread Tube, both in real life and online. If you think there's a snowball chance in hell that women globally, Western women, black women in the West, are going to encourage the boys and men in their circle, their family, their friends, to see trans women as real women. You mean the same women that are saying men are not on their level because they have a funky degree, college degree, and the men don't? You mean those women who already feel like there's too much competition for the lifestyle they want to live, provided by a man? God damn, why aren't y'all so... Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Because y'all really think it's just poor women that be on that. Pfft, okay. The women that already feel the sting of competition, you think they're going to openly allow more competition? What? Exactly, Charlie. He kept on saying that. And Charles says, see, that's why Negroes ain't ish. Irby said that. He kept on saying it. He kept on saying it. And nobody checked him. And they would hear me, they would hear Z say this. And I would be all type of homophobic, transphobic, when I'm only stating the absolute obvious. Forget just saying, "Oh, I'm stating the truth. I'm about facts." That whenever people talk like that, make me cringe. No, it's this. Oh man, this is so obvious. It's scary. Y'all remember a few years ago when y'all were trying to push black women to be more open to bisexual men, and they pretty much laughed in y'all face? Y'all forgot those days, huh? Just a few years ago, y'all forgot. Y'all forgot when a bunch of young people, particularly young black people, would do the whole switch up challenge, and that lasted for all of a couple days because women were cringing at seeing men. And for those of you that didn't know what the switch up challenge was, it was couples where the boyfriend would wear the girlfriend's clothes, or the husband would wear the wife clothes, and the wife or the girlfriend would wear the husband's clothes, right? And that lasted all of 2-3 days because mainly women shut that down. And y'all want those women to raise their sons to see trans women as real women. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? What alternate? Y'all got to be in an alternate universe. FD, when I reply to you, and when my retort to you saying we're in our bubbles over here in the Black Manosphere, I said, no, brother, you are in a bubble. Once again, I just wasn't just reacting to what you said and responded in that way. No, I said it with conviction. I meant it when I said it. Y'all are in a bubble. And I'm not going to tell y'all how many times I just saw FD just sitting there. FD's not dumb, y'all. We disagree with him. FD's not dumb. He know that is not happening. They are not women, black women in particular, are not raising their goddamn sons that trans women are real women. They're going to raise their sons not to offend y'all in public. That's what they're going to do. They're going to raise their sons just like how white folks raise their kids now. Leave all your inward jokes at home and amongst really close friends. Maybe a couple of coworkers that you know are okay with it. Huh? I don't know what y'all got to be in a different world, right? Irby goes on to say, or essentially say, white men get to seem less toxic and less patriarchal because the system demands that black men practice hyper masculinity, right? That black men be hyper masculine. And to that I say, you mean that white men are using being quote unquote the man as a magnet to attract women that includes non-white women or women of color, including black women? In other words, Herbie is making much of the same argument that I made towards FD Signifier and Foreign Man in a Foreign Land about the anti-patriarchal talk while they're married with children in nuclear family. Yeah, that sounds nice, but your class position acts as the patriarchy. And I understand for FD and maybe even for Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, your wives earn more than you before, and yes, and yeah. But currently, your education, your income, and your class position is acting as the patriarchy. Similarly, going to what Irby is saying, White patriarchy is the patriarchy on planet Earth. That's what the women are aspiring for. And by the way, it's not just a black women thing. It's black women are loud about it. Anybody want to speak to Asian women? Oops. That's both South and East Asian women. Anybody want to speak to Latina women? Yikes. All that talk about being anti the Latino men and their machismo. Yeah, and y'all go right after the white men. Shut the hell up. Women doing all this virtue signaling until it comes time to date and get married. Hey, Kim Foster gave y'all the quote already. Feminists in the streets. What she said, feminists in the streets and feminists in the streets and patriarchy in the sheets? No, she didn't say it like that. What did she say? It was something along those lines, right? Pick me in the sheets? Maybe it's something along those lines where it's feminists in the streets and pick me in the sheets or something like that. Yes. And that's the majority of women that are quote unquote feminist and womenist and female rights. If she's heterosexual, she's full of crap. That's once again, that's one thing I gotta give the radical feminists. I agree with them on that. If you ain't eating vagina, you're really not about it. I said it. I said it the way I meant it. If you're a heterosexual woman and you waxing poetic about female rights, I guarantee you eventually I can catch you up on your hypocrisy. I'm not saying that all human beings aren't hypocritical in some way, some form, because I believe we are. But if you're waxing poetic about anything female rights, if I follow you long enough, I guarantee you I can find the holes in your argument and I can show you to be a hypocrite. Right? And St. Cyr says, activists in the streets, colonized in the sheets. Oh, man. And Dylan backs that up. Huh? There's a whole lot of women doing all this talking anti-patriarchy and the system of oppression. Huh? And then you find out they married to a white man. A hedge fund manager or something. The symbol of white patriarchy. Right? A white banker or something like that. Shut the hell up. Right? They do also speak about essentially, and FD speaks about this, the patriarchal feminism of white men. Right? And like it's essentially this performative feminism that white men get to play, right? Where they show that they're so supportive of women and women's rights and feminism, and then many times they're found out to be these raving, misogynist, anti-women people. Yeah, they're performing. And it's easier for the white man to do it because so many women are desirous of being anointed on the forehead by white peen. I said it. They want to be baptized on the forehead by white peen. I said it as derogatory as I meant it. I meant it as crass as I said it. Once again, a lot of women are waxing poetic about female rights until it comes time to get married, and it's time to live this lifestyle. Irby, I challenge you as an experiment to date women. Do it for a year. Go on as many dates as your wallet can allow. So you can see what that. Shut the hell up if you over there and you listening to women talk all they crap without experiencing them. And then FD, another one, he got married young. He was with his lady since what, 19 or 21, he said. Y'all don't really know. A whole lot of people that never been caught up in no foodie call talking. Shut up. FD is just now for real, realizing, oh crap, maybe this is bigger than I thought. Yes. Y'all keep on saying we're small. Y'all are saying, okay, this is a thing, but it's a really small niche community. FD trying to walk the tightrope. FD, call it what it is. Brother, you heard me say it when I spoke to you. Some of these women are movers and shakers in the background. Ole told you she went to law school with a coon that worshipped white men. Ole's words. In other words, somewhere out there is Ole's old friend, her old homegirl, that spoke negatively about black men and worships white men. How do you think she's going to represent a black man if she has to? And Trail, that's what it is. And Trail says, Brad, save your fantasy. And that's even for the women that got it together financially. That's even for the women of color. Y'all got a hard. This is the thing. We acknowledge hypergamy here. And we understand how that plays on women. Mack and Murphy essentially got FD to admit hypergamy also. But the larger left, including the black left, have a very difficult time speaking on hypergamy. Even Diallo, even though he didn't say those words, when he was speaking about women wanting these essentially masters of universe men that goes out and conquer, but then he's somehow an activist at home and progressive at home, you're speaking about hypergamy. Y'all have a difficult time accepting this because you think you can socialize it out of women. Why? Because y'all know a handful of women, a relative handful of women who earn more than their men, earn more than their boyfriends, earn more than their husbands, are more famous or well known than their husbands, and them and their husbands and boyfriends are okay with it. Y'all know a relative handful of women that are truly okay with it and don't harbor any resentment. And y'all think that's a thing. Meanwhile, we have researchers on this that said, yeah, that's not a thing for any women for the most part. Everyone from Dr. Chris Marsh, that is a PhD, and I disagree with her on a whole lot, PhD in demography and sociology, to Dr. This is a white woman, Dr. Jennifer Lundquist, once again, PhD in demography and sociology, to Dr. Chantel Buggs, PhD in sociology, and they're all telling y'all, first of all, it's all about white men. Secondly, dating, all about white men. Third, hypergamy, hypergamy, hypergamy. And I'm watching a panel full of not dumb black young folk. And when I say young, I mean under the age of 50. I think the oldest person there is probably FD, and I think he's in his early 40s. And y'all all acting dumb. Huh? So yes, FD, you're going to have white men doing this performative feminism crap. The patriarchal feminism crap. Yes, you're going to have white men doing their best rendition of Derek Jackson and Drake and Harry Styles eventually. Y'all wait. I'm waiting for that balloon to burst on Harry Styles. Right? Black women thought they had a friend in Drake until that porn star baby mama popped out. Huh? Until he started sneak dissing Serena and them, and not really even sneak dissing Rihanna and Serena and them. Meanwhile, black men like me could smell Drake. We know who Drake is. He's the square brother that made it. And I could tell, the reason why I speak the way I do about Drake in particular when it comes to this is because I knew who he was from 2010, 2009. And Better You says, who is Harry Styles? Harry Styles is the white dude, performer, singer, that sometimes you see him in dresses. Apparently, he's a heterosexual straight man, but he experiments with his dress, with his wardrobe, and he's wear dresses and whatever. And they're essentially saying he's like the modern Bowie a little bit. And I'm like, no, he's taking it even further. And it's a lot of virtue signaling to like teeny bopper white girls who think they're progressive, right? Huh. And you see these dudes do this advocacy for women's rights, and the majority of them don't mean it, but it doesn't matter. Because women will convince themselves right up until the story explodes that says, "Oh, by the way, he was out here locking women in dungeons," type thing. They're like, "Oh my God, not him!" And meanwhile, men gotta pretend like we're surprised. All the rest of us that knew better gotta pretend. Oh, really? You ever been told a story and then your family or whoever told you it, a friend or whatever, said, "Hey, you don't know. By the way, you don't know." And so when the person finally tells you, or you find out the more official way, the more above board way, now you got to pretend like you didn't know and be surprised and clutch your invisible pearls. Oh, really? Oh. Meanwhile, you knew a year ago, 6 months ago, right? You knew 3 months ago. Now you got to pretend like you didn't know. That's your average straight man, particularly straight black man, with Derek Jackson. As a matter of fact, no, we didn't even pretend with Derek Jackson. We were yelling that from the rooftop. We told you so. But that's how many of us had to act with Drake. Oh, really? Oh, you think he's a misogynist? Oh, I would have never thunk it. Right? Oh, you think he got mommy issues? Oh, you think he tried to get back at women because maybe he wasn't all that, but when he was younger? Oh, really? Oh, huh? They also speak about Amanda Marianne, who put out another think piece essentially about swirling. So she covered the Black Wife effect, um, right? And FD said, essentially these think pieces and these videos are coming out like every 3 months. There's always another black woman, white man think piece. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And he said that, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because black women want to see it. Black women are the ones, it's not white men. Black women are the ones who are desirous of seeing all of this, black women being desired and being elevated and living a lifestyle, right, that was given to them by a non-black man. And Ole pretty much responds to FD signifier by saying, and it's funny because like black women, white men relationships are like the least common. It's actually black women, Asian men relationships, which that's funny for its own reasons. But to that I say, yeah, and the way black women will respond to you, Ole, even though you are an attorney, a licensed and barred attorney, you know how they will respond to you. Yeah, but when we do get married, we have the lowest divorce rate. It's about the lifestyle. Y'all struggle to accept that it's not just a quote unquote conservative thing. Women want the lifestyle. Let's say it again, Z Slow. Educated women want the lifestyle. Non-educated women want the lifestyle. White women want the lifestyle. Black women want the lifestyle. Asian women want the lifestyle. Latina women want the lifestyle. That's South Asian and East Asian women want the lifestyle. Right? Conservative women want the lifestyle. Progressive and liberal women want the lifestyle. Women that grew up with some money want the lifestyle. Women that grew up with no money want the lifestyle. All of these women want the lifestyle that they see on television, primarily provided by a white man. And for some ungodly reason, the black left and the left in general, the black left struggle with this. It's not about being equally yoked. It's not about assortative mating. Huh? It's hypergamy. Jesus Christ. Huh? And in our case, racial hypergamy, particularly for black women. Y'all, man, it's things that are so, like, once you have this one puzzle piece, everything else makes so much more sense. And I don't think that these people don't have it. I think they refuse to use those lenses. It's like they have the glasses and the glasses are on the table. They just refuse to pick those glasses up and see through them. Huh? They refuse to pick up the glasses and see through them, even to experiment with it for a day or two. Right? Y'all keep on hearing women say level. I need a man on my level in whatever iteration of those words rearranged that they can say it in, right? Whether it's, once again, assortative mating or equally yoked or on my level, or I need someone that's not intimidated by my career or my success or my education or my, right? My drive, my motivation, my... You continue to hear women from across the spectrum. Education, race, background, familial background. You keep hearing women say that, and yet we keep on watching y'all ignore women saying that. Hypergamy. God. And as I was saying, so as FD said, this discourse is underdeveloped, right? And as I said, yes, because academics like you and intellectuals and people like you spanning about the past 5 decades, all y'all did was over-index on wagging your finger at your sons, at black men and boys. That's all y'all did. 4 and 5 decades. Let's be generous and not say 6. Especially over the past 4 decades, but even around the past 5 decades, all we did in the black community is over-index on wagging our fingers at our sons. And so now FD is admitting what, once again, Dr. T and Dr. Tommy Curry and Mr. Z and BGS, etc., have been saying. Right? This discourse is underdeveloped. No, FD, say it the way it needs to be said. Look, we've been saying, and shout out to Herbie, we've been saying Negroes ain't ish so long that we forgot that Negroes share a community with black women. Oops. And if Negroes ain't ish, does it mean that these black bees ain't ish too? Who's raising these ain't ish Negroes? Uh-oh. Huh? If we keep on saying, and you hear Herbie, you hear Khadijah, you hear Quaytan, and a bunch of them, when Herbie said Negroes ain't ish, you hear one of them, I think it might have been Khadijah said, or Herbie said it himself, yeah, that's my mantra, I say it every day in the morning. So y'all saying Negroes ain't ish, that sound nice. And then half of y'all are like, I wonder where like straight black men, they avoid me, and I know better than to look in their direction. And And there's some resentment. F your resentment. You can look in the mirror in the morning, every morning, brushing your teeth, talking about, oh, Negroes ain't ish, and we're supposed to be around you. F you, and try to prove ourselves to you with your fake ass moral supremacy. That's why y'all try to convince the young boys and the men, oh, but we do more harm. We're more dangerous. Then those men go off and seclude themselves away from y'all. They only got their one girlfriend or wife, and they stay the hell away from most women, including most black women. And y'all wonder why. No, go lift those heavy groceries by yourself, or go call one of those workers, one of those employees. F you. Right? And Saint Cyr says, exactly. If you have this natural built-in animosity to me, just for being a straight man, why would I want to even be around you in general? I would say for them, they would say it's you not truly being in community with them. Oh boy. You not realizing how your concepts and ideas of being a straight man is dangerous and antagonistic to them. They would probably also argue that you attempting to uphold the patriarchy with your concepts of heterosexuality is once again dangerous to them. And it's not that they're necessarily antagonistic to you, it's that your position in the black community is weaponized against them and their sexual orientation and their sexuality and the way they present to the world. Huh? When you look at a Quay Tan, when you look at a Irby, understand that these are people who resent that many straight black men just stayed away. Even for the ones that didn't bully. Okay, y'all ever seen Kill Bill, right? And in Kill Bill, what is her name? Lucy Liu's assistant, right? The essentially Lucy Liu's secretary. Remember, she was there when Bill tried to, off Uma Thurman in the movie. And right? And when Uma Thurman was getting back at, when she started to get her get back, she stalked, followed, and pretty much kidnapped Lucy Liu's assistant, who didn't do anything. Remember, she just was there, and she looked over the what they thought was a dying body when the situation happened at that church, and or that cathedral, that church. And the way Uma Thurman responded, she took her arm off, right? She took her arm off, and she told her, hey, go tell her I'm on my way. I'm coming to get her. That is the way they see you. For those of us that we don't make fun of them, we don't bully them, we stay out the way, we stay away, and we stay out the way. They see you as still aiding and abetting because you're not advocating for them. So essentially, you still are Lucy Liu's assistant. Yeah, you didn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, you just were on the phone minding your own business, but you were still there. You were still part of the party, right? And Trell says, so not effing with them is effing with them. Yes. I'm not even going to look at the pun because oh boy, there's a pun in there. But yes. Straight black men not being around is messing with them. Staying away is messing with them. It's bothering them. Huh. And so for Herbie and Quay Tan, the resentment that's there, and I remember FD said that on Ole's channel, that Herbie was speaking to him and essentially was saying FD being a bit too sympathetic to straight black men is dangerous for gay black men like Herbie, because it kind of gives, I guess, brothers like us the license to be more homophobic, transphobic, etc., etc. Right? And y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, so yeah, I have a real issue with this thing, right? And let me actually read this because I did not highlight it earlier. And Leon says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Leon says, Ole acts this way with Charlemagne the God. We know. I still haven't watched her debate the mayor of New York. I still haven't watched it yet. I've been holding off on it, and I damn near forgot. I gotta watch it. It's on my list of things to watch. Right? All my things, my list of things to do. Right? Huh. And that's the problem. And Telescope says, I'll say it. What straight man cares what a trans thinks about anything? And that's the problem right there. And I'm not actually saying that's the problem for real. I'm saying for them, that's the problem right there. That their whole worldview is warped because they truly believe that they sit above us with the moral supremacy, right? Because of the space they occupied. Actually, Khadijah kind of spoke to this a little bit, where there's like this flattening of quote unquote oppression, where like because you're a man or straight man, you have it less bad than a black woman just because. And Khadijah actually pushed back on some of this notion. Not when Irby and Quay Tan were speaking about this type of thing in particular, but earlier in the conversation, she was pushing back on this idea, right? So let's say you're a straight black man, but you grew up poor, and then somebody would see you arguing class and stationing in life and men, women with one of Russell Simmons' daughters, or with one of Rev Run's daughters, or something like that, and they would automatically assume you're the patriarchal a-hole, right? Trying to uphold this power structure thing when you grew up poor. Meanwhile, the rich black woman who grew up a rich black girl, because she's a black woman, and because of the way they see intersectionality, all of a sudden, once again, the fact that she grew up this way, pretty privileged, means that intersectionality kicks in and you're in the wrong because you're trying to uphold the oppressive hierarchy while she's not, right? Pretty much. And Compassion says this understanding of you have it easier because of your penis and muscle mass. And there are some people that truly believe this, right? They truly buy into this. They truly believe this. And once again, Leon, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. This is a thing, y'all. I watched a bunch of people, educated people, speak about black men, women's relationship, and interracial dating and relationships amongst black women with non-white men. And they got into some things that we say here, but much of it came from a place of either ignorance or that they have a difficult time really conceptualizing women, that includes women of color, that includes black women, wanting a lifestyle, regardless if she's educated or not, regardless if she can do for herself or not. And once again, because a handful of y'all have been with or are with or know a couple of women who truly mean egalitarian, when they say it, y'all think that's a thing. Women don't really mean it. Women don't actually mean it. Right? Exactly, compassionate. You uphold the patriarchy by your mere existence. Right? Huh. And so finally we get in, and when you watch this, you realize how much of what we've been saying in the black manosphere they already know, or they've been looking into because of us. They've been looking into these things because of us. And if it wasn't for us, and let me be very clear, if it wasn't for the black manosphere, we would have a few more decades of just straight black women ripping black men to shreds, not challenged, unchallenged intellectualizing of misandry, anti-black male misandry. If it was not for the black manosphere, these people would not truly question how they intellectualize their misandry. They would not push back or challenge divestors and swirlers. They would not question and push back really these black women and luxury women, right? They would not question just the black women who talk all of this female rights, women rights, and then how many of them are with white men. If it wasn't for the black manosphere, it just would be a bunch of Alvins, and that's Alvin, Josh, and Eddie, Alvin and Chipmunks, Ed and Eddie, off of waving the red flag. That's all you would see. Even Olay said, these divestor swirler types are about 100 comments away from turning her into a red pill Negro. Yeah, Olay, you ain't realize it was that real. And by the way, y'all still only talking about the divestor and swirlers. You're not even speaking about the women that are quietly seething that black men aren't white men and didn't make them into white women, and are also open to dating pretty much exclusively white men. They say dating out and dating non-black. They really, really mean white men. Right? And let me be very clear once again, FD, you still are inaccurate about your reading of the swirler divestor types and the black manosphere being like two sides of the same coin. Because you were saying like both of them hate Negroes, both of them hate black women, both of them hate us, which is that black leftist side. Both of them essentially hate being black. That's not true. Black men don't hate being black in the black manosphere, number one. Number two, you got to be honest about this, FD signifier. In the black manosphere, for the most part, we don't tell black men to not date black women. There's like no equivalent of Cynthia G in the black manosphere. There's really no equivalent of Lexus Exodus in the black manosphere. There's really no equivalent of Chrissy in the black manosphere. Huh? When you hear black men even utter the words expand your options, they really mean it. They're not telling you to go date exclusively white women. This is not a one-to-one. Stop doing, y'all be lying to these women. Ooh, y'all be lying. First, FD says, black men and black women are the least desirable. That's not true. That's not what none of the numbers say. It says black women and Asian men. That's what it says. That's what it's been saying since that Asian dude did the research like a decade ago. That's what it said when Christian Rudder did the research, what, maybe 7-8 years ago? Then that's what it said with Dr. Jennifer Lundquist and Dr. Chantel Buggs with the dating divide. So FD, stop lying to these women, number one. Number two, once again, stop lying to these women about how there's a one-to-one. There's not a one-to-one. We're not worshiping at the altar of white women here. Divestors and swirlers are primarily worshiping at the altar of white men because they want to be white women. Black men, for the most part, don't want to be white men. Huh? And Ole was trying to get to that, but ain't nobody was trying to listen to her, right? And Abe O says, look, I went to school, work with, and live with white boys. They are not all the quote unquote, well, not quote unquote. They are not, I got to read that all over again because I'm so used to saying quote unquote. Let's read that again. Abe O says, look, I went to school, work with, and live with white boys. They are not all the sugar / paradise that black women think. These white boys are worse. The problem is that the white men are still white in a white patriarchal society, so it doesn't matter. Women make a cold and calculated decision, and the left really has a struggle with this. Women make a decision to deal with white men because of the resources and because of that white skin. The white skin is the passport in the anti-black, white supremacist, capitalist, neo, feudal, whatever the hell society, not neo-feudal, neo-colonial society. Women, including women of color, make a calculus to deal with those white men anyway. So it doesn't matter that they're worse. These women will lie to themselves as long as they can deal with that white man, right? White dude could only take a shower. Y'all saw the survey where they said what percentage of white folks only take a shower once or twice a week? That white man could take a shower only once or twice a week. He could be walking out here public barefoot. He could not dress that well, and they think they're gonna black wife affect the white dude. That white dude could be condescending. He could be quote unquote patriarchal. And women writ large in the West, that includes obviously white women, but Asian women, black women, Latina women will bite the bullet and something else for the lifestyle. They hope that white man's white, even the bum ass white dudes. For all of you that see these black women and these Asian women that deal with these bum ass white dudes, they hope that his whiteness kicks in eventually. The Latina, the Asian women, the black women that deal with these kind of rough around the edges, maybe bum ass white dudes, they're hoping his whiteness kicks in eventually. And so one day they wake up and he's earning 6 figures. Right? So that's what you are hearing. That's what you're seeing. Right? So yeah, no, the white guys could be worse. The white guys could be running through them. The white guys could do all it. Once again, the black young lady, I think she was Nigerian descent. She called into Yvette Carnell's show years and years and years ago. This is like 2018 or something like that. 2018, 2019, something like that. She called into, it was probably more like 2018. She called into to Yvette Carnell's show. It might even been 2017. And she was speaking on being in college, going to a house party or a frat party, better yet. White guy took interest in her. She kind of was like whatever about him, but I think she might have took his number and her Latina homegirl was pressing her about going out with him and was like, yo, go out with him. Yeah. Right. And like, yo, he got connections and whatever. And she kind of was lackluster about it, and she ended up not dating him. And the Latina homegirl scooped up right behind her and started dating the white dude. It was essentially to her like, yo, this dude got connections. He got like he's going somewhere. Right. And like, yeah. Right. Huh. And Abe continues and says, I make more than all the white dudes I know. And you're right. The whiteness saves them. Asian women, for example, dates the most average white dudes. It's shocking. It's really not. Asian women are practicing their hypergamy as much as possible. And what you earn compared to the white dude in their mind does not equate to his white skin. Huh? And like, it's difficult for leftists in particular, black leftists and leftists in general, of color, because you don't really see the Latinas or the Asian women that's quote unquote on the left really challenging this white worship thing coming from women of color or women of their own demographic, whether that's East Asian, South Asian, Latina. You'll see them make a think piece maybe about Mindy Kaling in specific and how kind of cringe it is with her. She got this weird thing with white men. No, she grew up upper middle class by two. She was raised by two educated, professional Indian parents that had her being raised around a bunch of white folks. She worships white peen. Y'all don't know how to speak about it, so shut the hell up. Leave the topic alone and let somebody else cover it. You know, like Z. Huh? Or that clip on Compassionate's channel with the East Asian woman saying, I grew up in high school and the white guys weren't really checking for me, so I wonder if like now that I'm an adult and I wonder if like there's something there, and I kind of still looking for their approval. Yes you are. Yes. Huh? Oh, Steph Cohen won. So you got East Asian woman that Compassionate has on his channel. You have South Asian woman, Mindy Kaling. You have black woman, Ostefco. Huh? Good point. And Global Free Agent says we cannot overcome their internalized racism. Good point. Right? That's funny. And Samuel Norton says, LOL, waiting on the mail, looking for their whiteness check to come in. Right? Oh man. Man. Wow. And St. Cyr says, nasty work. My friend from Brazil was telling me about a time her family hosted an exchange student from Germany. Dude only showered 2 times a week in humid Brazil. Yeah, humid as Brazil. Yep. Yep. Right. That German dude could come to America, move to America, go to a couple of black clubs or kind of more urban clubs. He don't even got to be hood. He don't got to get tatted up and none of that. Take interest in a couple of black women and he could sweep. He could move to America, take interest in one Latina woman, and he could have Latinas for the rest of his life. God forbid he show interest in Asian women. Jesus Christ. Either East or South Asian, both. Or Southeast Asian. Right? And he could still only take 2 showers a week. And they wouldn't care. Huh? the FDs of the world, the Khadijas of the world, the y'all really struggle with what white men did to the minds of women, including black women, women of color around the planet. Huh? What colonialism and white supremacy did to the minds of the women, right? Wow. So on that note, y'all, I just wanted to come to y'all with this today. Thing is annoying, man. I watched a whole lot of people, and then to watch foreign man in a foreign land pretty much say he don't think this is real, or he doesn't think the black woman that Ole um is reading the comment from is real, right? And to watch Craytan and watch Irby equivocate, man, stop. Imagine a group of people that demand you kiss their ass to show you're not threatening. Oh boy. To show you're not a threat. That you acknowledge that they're better than you, that they have the moral supremacy and they're on the right side of history. Imagine a group of people that demand that you, hey, you right, you right, Irby, you everything about straight black men is all type of messed up. Yeah, you right. Huh? This is once again, this is why they're talking about queer your relationships. A more queer understanding of relationships and queer models. If I if I Thanos snapped every man in the black community to be that tomorrow, and shout out to Ole for admitting it, black women would throw a goddamn fit. They would If I Thanos snapped every black man to be these quote unquote queer, non-patriarchal, a more wide and broad understanding of masculinity, non-binary. If I Thanos snapped every brother to be that, you think black women are divestors and swirlers now? Huh? Fine. Let's say globally, I Thanos snap every man to be that. Do you understand that women would be torching every capital on planet Earth? Like I said, y'all in some weird ass bubble over there. It's not simply that women are homophobic like men and women are transphobic like men, and no, it's a calculus. It's lifestyle. It's their understanding of femininity. It's them not wanting to do the heavy lifting. And anything that looks even close to 50-50 is too much. I see you, Leon. I see you, Leon. I see you. Well, Ole was in the same room with him once, right? At least once that we know publicly, at least. Right. When she debated the mayor. Hmm. Trail said, I had a black friend my freshman year in college, black guy from Cincinnati, I think you said, and he went to hanging around white folks and stopped bathing regularly. He came to visit, and I had to tell him straight up wash. Yeah, yo, you don't get to pull those same stunts as a black man. And shout you gotta ask yourself sometimes, as a black man, you're watching as these women lecture and talk down to and wave their fingers at black men. And especially for the ones that are in relationships with white men, though. Crystalline Karazin's, although we know she's divorced from her white husband. What are y'all willing to go through with these white men? Okay, fine. White dude is not one of those that only take a shower twice a week. There's a whole lot in once again, Ole admitted it. There's a whole lot going on that y'all are accepting, and so did low-key Khadijah. Khadijah admitted that when she was dating one of these white dudes when she was younger, white dude was over here low-key fetishizing Asian women and calling them soft and submissive. Y'all want to admit that y'all be letting white guys get away with things and y'all give them passes on how they speak about women? Ooh, while y'all lecture black men? Yikes. Huh? I said it, a year ago? If you're not grading white men by a curve, in other words, you're not grading him easier because he's white, how toxic does that masculinity look over there? Y'all want to talk about toxic masculinity? How patriarchal does it look over there? Huh? Once again, this is a class argument. Black women are saying black women are in a better class and a better position. We are better than black men. So black men should be forced to accept our misbehavior, our bad behavior. It's only right. Alexa, play Ty Dolla $ign. It's only right, please. It's only right. Right? And Toya says, and what has it gotten us? LOL. I mean, black women got some college degrees, a couple of PhDs, a couple of baby Benzes, one or two Benz GLSs, and Beamer X5s, some nice houses, particularly in New York in the DMV area. A couple of nice homes in LA too. A few in Miami, a few in Chicago, a smattering, depending on where you live, Houston, Austin, Dallas, in Texas. Some nice homes in Louisiana. Well, black women got a couple of nice houses, a couple of nice luxury cars. A couple of them got some nice, government jobs, and they're going to get an okay pension. Obviously, working for the post office. Some of them are going to retire okay-ish, right? I'm getting to that, tell you. I'm getting to that, right? I'm getting to that, right? Couple of dollars. A few black women, make over six figures. Black women. Some black women have gotten some material gain from helping white women to push black men off the bus. On the other side of that, as you said, cold beds, antidepressant pills, right? Erratic, weird personalities and personality quirks, right? A whole lot of Ebony K. Williams, but doing it the more natural way, sperm jacking. Huh? A whole lot of doing strange things with coworkers, particularly white ones, a couple of Latinos. You see, Toya, I see that pun. I see that pun, and I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And Toya says, "You're right, Z. Black women got a bunch of Negro trinkets to fill that gaping hole because Toya's being funny. Fill that gaping hole of companionship." I mean, they fill in the gaping hole with another trinket, and they are. But yeah, and that's sad. And I think that's a increasingly a Western woman thing, increasingly an American woman thing, although I think Black women are far, far ahead of other women, particularly in America. But it's the cost, right? Alchemy. It's the cost. It's the trade-off. I keep on saying it. Shout out to the Roger Report. He says it. Black Uru said, we're saying it like the trade-off of women being in the workforce competing with men, sometimes out-competing men, is that you just knocked off your hypergamous, aspirations. Right? Yeah, definitely. And Chief Rocket says, definitely anticipating your commentary regarding those videos I suggested. Right? That is the cost. That does not mean that a Black woman or women can't have careers and not be married. As a matter of fact, what we're seeing once again is that the people that are getting married and staying married. Shout out to Jason Black with his stream. He reposted it for a couple of nights ago. I'm going to do a review of it soon. And he said now they're saying, yeah, get married and stay married. No, Z's been saying that for years. You know how Mr. Z feels sometimes, and I said feel, like I'm that small, local comedian that be having some good ass jokes, but I'm not big time. And then either my joke gets stolen or somebody more famous just comes up with a similar joke, right? And they get known for the joke, right? And like, so hearing Jason Black said, I'm like, no, Z's been saying that for years, way before I made myself known in the Black Master. And then when I made myself known in the Black Master, I've been saying that for years, right? I said it on the breakdown. I said it on BGS channel, Charles channel, my channel, the Roger Reports channel, Dr. Thunder's channel, name them. Roguish channel, name them. Huh? And continuing. Yeah, no, it's seeming more and more, and it is this, that we're turning these relationships into a signifier of class. And you only get married or you only have this type of coupling dependent on your class position. And nobody's necessarily dictating this, right? This is not a law. But our social and economic environment and our political environment are dictating to people without anyone literally dictating it to you. It's not a law, once again, that no, for you to have this, you have to be of this particular income level. And you can try to do it without this type of status. And eventually that woman of yours that we groomed and primed and raised in this environment, she'll torch that marriage. So you can try it. Once again, that's why Mr. Z says, look at that marriage rate and then look at that divorce rate and look at who's filing for divorce. Huh? So yeah, so they're sacrificing companionship and filling that gaping hole. Hysterical. They are sacrificing that for, a career, an entry-level luxury car, which they could have got in the relationship anyway. And really, let's call a thing a thing. Women don't want to be told what to do when they don't want to be told what to do. And so for many, it may not be a cold calculus, but it's somewhat of a calculus to be single. That way I could do what I want to do when I want to do it, however I want to do it. And I think that's perfectly okay. I think that is perfectly okay. But when the lonely nights are there, I really want to say when the lonely nights come. I meant it when the lonely nights come, right? Deal with it. Is it going to be every night? No. But when it's there, it's there. And Toya says, very golden girls coded except melanin. Isn't that what I don't know if she's a PhD or I think she's an academic. Isn't that what Stephanie Perry said? Stephanie Perry is a woman that Shay Sade covered. I checked out a couple of videos on her channel, and I think she's still in Africa. A sister that was in Africa, and she's single, and you know, if you hear her and she speaks about how, you know, being single, this single life, and you can hear her practically growling. She's doing the fake ass Omarion not bothered thing, but you can see her practically growling at black men. And yeah, she said it like she had her spot in Africa. Where I can't remember what country she was in, and she would have black women come and visit her and chill with her, and they have a grand old time. And even the ones that come with their husbands go bugger off somewhere. And yeah, golden girls. And low key, that's what a lot of black women are kind of advocating for. You hear Yanni speak, right? When she starts speaking that decenter men thing, what is she saying? Especially when she first started that campaign and she admitted that she just missed her friends. And she missed when they used to go out and not talk about men and boys. And yeah. Golden girls thing. Except Yanni's under the age of 35. But setting her life up to be golden girls. Huh? That's all. Saint Sir says, thank you for being a friend. Right. And this is something a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with the social and political fallout of not feminism. It's not simply feminism. Right? It's the way men and women are responding to this environment, namely the women. Y'all did not take into account hypergamy. Y'all did not take into account that women are not okay. And once again, you're hearing this from Anne-Marie Slaughter. You're hearing this from more and more honest, or at least somewhat honest academics. Dr. Scott Galloway, right? Even Mack and Murphy, to a certain extent, that women are going to practice hypergamy come hell or high water for most women. So now what? I thought, you know, especially in the beginning of second wave feminism, they were speaking about how this is going to elevate all people, because liberating and freeing and empowering women liberates and frees men. Meanwhile, women are being more and more honest that actually what we meant is patriarchy by feminist specifications. Don't worry, FD, you kind of denied it when I said it, and you thought it was you said it like it was just a niche group of women that buy into that. That was earlier this year. That was what, 2024? Give it another about a year or so, you'll admit that I was right. Or maybe he won't say it like that. it would be like, I'm kind of starting to maybe entertain the idea that maybe for a number of women, what they really want is, and you kind of admitted it, autonomy, autonomy and security, and what that actually effectively looks like is patriarchy under feminist specifications. Yes, 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 yes. Huh? Chief Ruckus said, "Living a life." Not Jill Scott. He said she's living her life like it's golden. I mean, she is though. Yanni love posting them pictures and those videos, enjoying her life, looking like she's not bothered, enjoying the view from her condo. I believe her too. I truly believe her. I truly think she's enjoying her life. And I think on the other side of that is some lonely ass nights and days. Right? I think she's enjoying whatever friends she can go out with. I think she's enjoying her experiences. I think she's enjoying having this money, her freedom, her autonomy. If she does have a sneaky link that she's pretending she doesn't have, but she doesn't want to let her subscribers know, I think she's enjoying all of that. But if she is truly single for real, yeah, man, because you no longer have some of these challenges that the average person has. Your money challenge is not, I mean, excuse me, she still has to continue on the hamster wheel. Don't get it twisted. Those YouTube checks still got to roll in. But it's not the end of the world per se for her. So now the other part of it, the companionship part, that just sticks out even more, pun intended. And Toya says she's enjoying it from the vantage of being perched above her audience. That is also a dangerous place to be. Go into that, Toya. Go into that. Right? I agree, I think, from what you're saying. Or what? No, sorry. I agree, I think, from what I think you're saying. There we go. Right? Yeah, Leon's right. And he says, Z, let's be real. FD did say it, but he used the feminist way of saying it. Yeah. Where I say patriarchy by feminist specifications, he says autonomy plus security. You're right. You're right. Right. You're right. And Toya says, because as you pointed out before, she's selling an aspirational lifestyle that isn't accessible to those women. Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of content creators do. Right? Notice I didn't just say the women. Uh-oh. That's what a lot. I think and what makes, again, Mr. Z's got to pat himself on the back here. And shout out to Leon. What makes somewhat what we say as leftists a bit different than some of our conservative brothers is you have and even Obsidian, even though Obsidian is conservative, Obsidian does this too. And rest in peace, Kevin. He did this also, even though both of those brothers are conservative. You take a step back, and BGS obviously engages this Dr. T, Dr. Green Gorilla. You even see Army Yosef Frimpong, who's not even Black Manosphere related, do this. Obviously, you see Antonio Moore do this. You take a step back and you view this through a systemic lens. Not just your individual experiences, not just the experiences of your friends and family, not just the experiences of co-workers, etc. You take a step back, you read the literature on this, you know the numbers, you get acquainted with the numbers, and in the back of your mind is that calculator going off, that social calculator going off. That's why I say the social math, right? I'll be 100% honest with y'all. Oftentimes, I'm freestyling some of it, but I'm right. I'm not right about everything, clearly, because the freaking social calculator is going off in the back of my mind, right? Because I watched Century of Self. I watched that clip I played for y'all, and shout out to Rohish, the Wisecrack episode on Malcolm in the Middle. You know, I read Atlas Shrugged when I was younger. I barely remember anything of it, right? I read Alamo Farm when I was younger. Once again, barely remember anything of it, right? I understand the racial hierarchy. So when you have, right, I'm a student of history. So when you have that social calculator going off in the back of your mind, it's easy for you to kind of plug in how this thing is going to look. And God forbid, and shout out to the academics, you actually get an advanced or terminal degree in this. Oh man, cake. Right? Leon says, it's like benevolent patriarchy, maybe. I've heard FD. Who was he speaking to? Was it FD? I've heard them mention this also more and more, right? It wasn't just FD. It was some. I've heard of maybe 3 or 4 of these, like, not because they're not simply content creators. They're actually, and FD used to be an educator, right? Ole is literally an attorney, and she defends Black and Latino men. And I think that's why her view of how our society grinds them is more in-depth than just a surface level understanding. She's actually in the trenches. And I think that's why Ole sounds the way she does. But she's in the trenches with Black men and I think Latino men, especially in that Northeast and New York region. So she really sees how the system comes at them in a different way. But with that, these people are not just simply content creators. They're former educators. They are quote unquote activists. They are supposedly advocates. So when we say benevolent patriarchy, or when they say benevolent patriarchy, I think they're acknowledging that for many women, that would be good enough. Much to their chagrin, right? That benevolent patriarchy is good enough and actually may be desirous, I would argue, for most women globally, right? Huh. So that's and Amwaf says the workplace becomes the primary place for socializing for many adults post college. By making money virtually, she's probably has below normal interactions with people. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Right? Once again, it's interesting hearing FD tell us to go touch grass when Black men literally, for the most part, especially for some of us older millennials, and obviously all the way up in age, Xers and whatnot, who might be back in the dating scene after a divorce or a breakup, or we just never left the dating scene. It's not even difficult. It's funny to hear FD tell us to go touch grass when we literally have to be somewhat charismatic and entertaining and etc. to pull women and to have them around us enough to want to have sex with us or to be okay with us having sex. So when FD says much of why Negroes sound like this is because Negroes are lonely, yeah, you can say that, but if you go back about a year and some change in Yanni's her community tab. There we go. You will see her post something, and you will see a bunch of comments from her subscribers speaking about their celibacy. And I don't doubt all of them. A year celibate, a year and a half celibate, 5 years celibate, 7 years celibate, 10 years celibate, 15 years celibate, 17 years celibate. I'm not making that up. Those girls were really, those women, better yet, to be respectful, were really saying that. Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely does, and he is an attorney. And Better You says, don't forget Themis. He's an attorney who says he represents black men. Oh, he's represented. I'm sorry, black men. Right. Like FD, you could say what you want. We could even bring Diddy I Said It into this conversation. There are a whole lot of black men who have questionable character in private, but who have pushed black women forward, who have done for black women, very publicly and even privately. There are black men who are married to non-black women who support black women. Can we say the same? Uh-oh. Huh? Can we say the same for LGBTQ black men and for black women? Uh-oh. Or do they wear their resentment towards black men, their hatred of black men, their disdain for black men on their sleeve, and everybody sees it and everyone acts like they don't see it except for the black manosphere? BLM anyone? Ooh. Huh? Do you need a internal memo? Do you need a mission statement when you see the look on Alicia Garza's face when she's speaking to Ice Cube on Roland Martin's show? The disdain on her face for Cube, by extension black men. Once again, this is a black woman married to a trans white man. This is a queer black woman married to a trans white man who represents a quote-unquote movement, really an organization, who supposedly is supposed to speak up on black people, black men behalf, as black men are deleted by the state, really extrajudicial killings, let's call it a thing. And we have 3 queer black women who represent a movement that's being fueled by the blood of dead black men. Primarily dead black men. By 10 to 1, it's not even a comparison, black women, which are saying her name. Huh? And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Yeah. Huh? So 3 queer black women, y'all ain't see nothing wrong with that. So Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Mike Brown, Philando Castile, what's the brother's name from Louisiana? What's the one from the Carolinas that was running from the cops for freaking child support or something, and and dude shot him in the back and then threw the taser next to him and tried to plant the damn taser? I think his name was Walter. What's his name? Walter? Can't remember. Right? And then we're using BLM to represent these black men. Yeah. Walter Scott. Thank you, better you. Walter Scott. Huh? Alton Sterling. That was the name of the brother in Louisiana, I think. Yeah. See, Saint Cyr put at the same time. Exactly. Alton Sterling. Thank you, Saint Cyr. Right? Because I was thinking, I looked away from the phone, looked back, and yeah, Walter Scott. Thank you. Huh? Jordan Russell Davis. Name them. There's so many names. Huh? And we watch 3 queer black women represent that. Okay, all right, fine. Questionable internal memo, no one says anything except for the Black Manosphere. Questionable mission statement, no one says anything except for the Black Manosphere, then they change it. Yeah. Y'all are so hell-bent on black men taking a back seat to black women. It's black women's turn now. And white society has been priming a specific type of black woman for at least a good 4 decades. What's the point of black women leading anything if what we're going to have is a bunch of chocolate dip racist white women? Bowser. Huh? Yeah. We're going to have a whole bunch of Simone Sanders telling black men no one asks for your unsolicited opinion. I wonder why Biden's struggling to get the black vote and black men vote. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I watch FD and Ole attempt to say, yeah, black men, they may not be the best, but they're the most progressive of all men in America. They vote Democrat or they vote to the left by far more than any other men in America. And I watch Irby and Quay Tam, but really Irby, push back on that because his bar is whether you accept queerness and queer activity and queer this and whatever he was saying. That's where his bar starts. So if you're not there, then you ain't progressive. Oh boy, they can't let straight black men have nothing. What they say, you can't win for losing. Huh? You can't win for losing, exactly. Well, anyway. Yeah. Well, thank you for admitting it. Thank you, Irby, for admitting it. Yeah. Irby says black men are kind of forced to be, and I'm paraphrasing, be hyper masculine because, right? Because white society doesn't give us the space to be to be individuals and then allow for the system to practice the patriarchy for us, right? That way we can come off no pun on that one. We can come off softer. We can play as this softer form of manhood and masculinity. Once again, Harry Styles. But that's because the system is bringing the women to us, and it's kind of you acting as a magnet, not just for the women, but for the opportunities. And so you can be less of a shark because the system is protecting you, so you don't have to be this hyper masculine being and perform masculinity in this somewhat archaic way. Irby is saying that, right? Meanwhile, Ole is saying, actually, I think it's the other way, right? I think black men have been denied being quote unquote masculine to the extent that now they may be the most progressive because they can't be toxically masculine, especially on a global scale. And Ole said, I'm looking at this globally. They can't really practice patriarchy the way we think of it. And that's when Irby says, well, my bar is whether you're accepting of this queer LGBTQ thing. Huh? So this is how these people sound when amongst friends. Right? That's why my title is what it is. When among friends, this is how they sound. Huh. And they admitted a whole lot in this conversation that we've been saying for a while here, and they continue to deny or play down or minimize. And it's not that they necessarily didn't minimize it in this conversation, but they were willing to admit and accept certain things that he did not admit or accept when I was speaking to him. And he does not show you that angle when he puts out his think pieces. Huh? So they're admitting just a lot here. Hey, yep. And Better You says, even with that, black men are more accepting than others, but it's complicated because of all the pieces of that coalition. Much of the problem with the coalition is that they want black men to also be anti-black men. I said it. You imagine being part of a group that says, yeah, for you to be part of this group, you also have to be anti-you. Much of the problem with Irby and with Quaytan and all of these LGBTQ brothers and sisters, straight black women, is that straight black women and LGBTQ black men want black men to be anti-black and then couch that as, anti-black man, anti-black straight man, and then couch that as you understanding how your mere existence is a danger to them. And so you hush yourself and you stay in the corner unless spoken to, because your mere existence and definitely your words, they're not, we didn't even get into the physical yet. Your existence and your words can pose a threat and are dangerous. God forbid you become physically violent. Right? So they want you to admit and accept first that your mere existence is a danger to them. Now, for all the brothers that give them the middle finger and then walk away and tell them, read my Nikes, you're also a problem because you're not willing to, shout out to y'all in Van Zandt, stand in it. Oh boy. Look, stand in it with them and let them talk down and bad about you. Don't you understand? Right? Why can't you just accept that your mere presence in your heterosexual nature and the fact that you're straight is a threat, it's a danger to me, and like accept it and still be around me, and but don't say anything unless what you're saying aligns with what I'm saying. What? And that's what BLM was. Queer women. And what D-Ray, what's his name? D-Ray Davis? D-Ray McKesson. D-Ray McKesson? So you got a gay black man, a bunch of queer women. Huh? The straight black men are either being torched in cars, literally, or nowhere to be found. He got bought off. St. Cyr says D-Ray McKesson, or whatever that fraud's name was. I think, didn't they have him giving lectures or like being a professor at some school or something for like $100 and something thousand a year? You ain't hear from him since. He do little interviews, little here's and there. They bought him off for $100 and something thousand a year. He gone. Probably get piped down by white dudes. Anyway, huh? So you let a bunch of LGBTQ black men and women disappear $90 million. Huh? And shout out to KW Dawn. Exactly. $90 million gone. Because straight black men couldn't be the face of this movement. Because God forbid one of them cheats on their wife with a white woman, which was a rumor started by the FBI. But even if it was true, I'm not saying it is, I'm saying even if it was true, so what? The movement matters more. But God forbid black women and their jealousy of white women, all you got to do is spread a rumor that this black activist who's globally known was cheating on his wife with a white woman. And hell has no fury like a jealous black woman of white women. Huh? So to correct all of that, y'all turn this, what, second civil rights movement? The sacrilege. Y'all turn this second civil rights movement into a LGBTQ movement off of the dead bodies of black boys and men. And then make sure to have non-binary, queer, and LGBTQ black folks as the face of a movement built off of the dead bodies. Talking about BLM, blood, lives, and memories of dead black boys and men. While y'all give breathing and alive black boys and men the middle finger and tell them, no, it's our turn to lead a movement that is fueled by your dead bodies. Okay. Or the bodies of black men and boys that look just like you. But it's our turn to use some of that social currency, some of that social and political currency for our own movements, even if it was started by the dead bodies of men and boys that look like you. Yeah. Huh. Wolf says, this is like grade school sit with the cool kids table politics. It is. Right? Who say exactly? And Eric Denman says Yanni Channel gives off the vibe of 15 to 17-year-old girl. This is really no depth or structure there. And I curse you, Z, for having me listen to that. You know, that's what Dr. Stewart was saying about. That's what Dr. Stewart was saying about divestors. There's no structural analysis, right? And a lot of these people, particularly black women, don't have any structural analysis. That's why FD said he listened to me and he took interest in me. I'm not really patting myself on the back here. Yeah. As I said, that social calculator is going off. Number one. Number two, the 15 to 17-year-olds, that's because these people have arrested development of their emotions and their emotions and their thought process. I've said it before, these people are stuck at 14 years old, and y'all give Z a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. And St. Cyr says they're mentally stuck at age 13 to 17 at almost 21 years old and have Meredith Grey mentality. Pick me, choose me, love me, nobody else. No, seriously though. I mean, Ostefko admitted that because the way she feels that people see her and because she feels somewhat undesirable, I'm somewhat paraphrasing on that part. This part I'm not. She wants a gorgeous man. She wants a man that when he walks into the room, everybody stops and stares at him. So she could pretty much be like, yeah, maybe I'm not all that, but look at my man. In other words, it really is flipping the stereotypical gender dynamic upside down, right? Like where you hear people say there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire, or you hear people say, and that's men saying that, right? Or women saying that about men, billionaire men, where you may hear men say, yeah, I might be ugly, but you know, look at my B. You literally have Ostefko flipping that, or wanting at one point at least to flip that upside down, right? Number one. But number two, as I said before, and as I said on Dr. Thunder's channel, I think what that was Friday, a power game, right? This is about power. once again, um, you had Ostefco say that you have a number of these people that admit like high school and youth trauma, and they're admitting like the trauma wasn't even necessarily, although Ostefco, she might have said something different, the trauma may not have necessarily even been about being bullied. It's about not being desired. It's about being that darker skinned black woman, or a black girl better yet, or that heavier set black girl who was watching the jocks and the football players and the basketball players in high school date the light skinned slim chick with the hazel eyes, and you over there in the corner seething. Now these people have YouTube channels and Instagram pages and TikTok pages, etc., etc. Now these people have social media accounts and they're quote unquote influencers, right? And like no one in our society knows how to really grapple with, or they're pretending like they don't know how to grapple with real talk with Yanni or a Ostefco or any a number of one of these women that when you talk to them long enough, or when you snoop into their channels, eventually they're going to tell you about when they were 14, 15, 16 years old and the boys weren't checking for them. Right? Including, by the way, Khadijah. Right? She essentially said she was hyper visible to black folks, young black boys, I guess, that were making fun of her because of her skin tone. And then she was invisible to white boys. Right? And that goes back to, I think it was Vince who asked me on my stream. What was that, yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before. What's today? Yeah, that was yesterday. It was yesterday. Where Vince asked if black women are jealous of black men's visibility in this society and black men's desirability in this society. And I'm gonna say it again, so y'all get ready to throw up, including being desired by white men. And to that I said yes. And when I say that, I'm not some type of bad bee trying, I'm not gay, right? But if we step back and we really look at American history, we look at how white men speak on or about black women, we look at how white men speak on or about black men and black men's desirability to women, because they're hiding their desirability towards black men. When you listen to how some of the NBA players, and specifically the ones that used to play for the Clippers or that play for the Clippers, speak about Donald Sterling coming into the locker room to look at them. When you listen to some of those sports announcers, white sports announcers, speak about black men's bodies, black male athletes' bodies. When you hear about what was the name of that coach at that, what was it, college? Was it the college or the high school that got caught up in years ago? Because he was over here call a thing a thing out. Call a thing a thing, Z. Having sex with black boys. What was the name of that coach? Or that assistant coach? I forgot his name. Right? Yes, it's a thing. Right? And black women feel a certain way. Black girls feel a certain way about that. Sandusky. That's the one I'm thinking about. Sandusky. Sandusky. Right? Oh, Joe Patino? Is that the one? Or is Sandusky's the other one? Right? Sandusky. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. There we go. I said the high school. My bad, y'all. I guess it's the college. Yeah. Penn State. Yeah. Huh? So I think that that does affect black women's invisibility in this society is driving them crazy. That they're in the same spaces with white men, and white men either don't see them at all or wants to use them as a human jack-off machine. And black women are women. Black women are women. And to be in spaces with white men, particularly white collar spaces where these men are supposed to be more arrived and more intelligent and more cultured and have more class, right? And for you to be in their spaces and they either don't see you, which means they treat you like the homie, huh? Or they hypersexualize you and all you are is a human jack-off machine. You're not really a human being. You're just there to have fun with for however long they want to have fun with you. I guarantee you that must be maddening for them. Especially when you live in a society that tells you how great white men in particular are, and that you can find your liberation and your freedom through their juice. I meant it the way I said it. Right? They can baptize you and anoint you. I meant it the way I said it. And to being truly human and truly woman, in reality, right? And like, yes, we know that there's white men that are with black women and are married to black women, and it looks like real love and they have a real relationship and they've been married for 10 and 15 and 20 years. It happens. And for all of those that it does happen, they over romanticize those stories. And that's all your average black woman that wants this particular life needs. And it got to be maddening. And I think you can add that on to that desperation and that quote unquote childhood trauma and that arrested development of the emotions and whatnot. Huh? Oh, Stefco told you she dated as a, I think she was a teacher at that point, by that point. You're an educator and you're dating bum ass black men. Excuse me, I said black men. No, bum ass white dudes. You are an educator, black woman, and you're dating bum ass white dudes. And you're hoping to get pregnant. And Saint Cyr says they want that happily ever after so bad. Man, they need that fairy tale Disney ending. Oh, my white prince is shining in shining armor. Here's the thing, your happily ever after is with black men. It's not going to look exactly the way y'all see it in them Disney movies, though. Your happily ever after is with black men. Dear black women. I really want to tell you dear all women, but either way. Right. And thank y'all once again for the details. Better use is from Penn State. That's Sandusky. Loki says from Penn State. That's Sandusky. Right. And Better Use says that's right. Patino covered it up. Right. Yeah. And Longo says Patino looked the other way. Exactly. Right. Huh. So yeah, that Arrested Development, and yeah, Yanni pretty much sounds like a 13 to 17-year-old, and you know those teenage sisters got to be listening to her too. Those young 20-something-year-olds are listening to her. Mid 20-something-year-olds are listening to her, right? Especially, she looked like she's doing it. She's living the life. She's single. She's having fun. She got her nice condo. She told you about her BMW she owns, and she don't have a man, but yet she's making it happen. Looks nice, huh? I guess they didn't see that clip where she admitted she put the vagina on the table for one of her homeboys, and he denied it. And they don't understand. See, if you're a grown, I mean, like a grown black person, you understand how, no pun intended, how deep that is. Because Yanni's not hideous. So if you put that's why I continue to bring it up. I'm a black straight man. I know what that means. You put the vagina on the table, and this dude, so either your hygiene sucks, something, this dude knows something, or your personality is even worse than what we see online. I'm assuming he's single. Huh? So something is, you have a serious character flaw, right? Exactly, Demetrius. And Demetrius says, he's like, you're not worth the trouble. That's literally, dear, any woman on planet Earth, practically, but any woman in America, if he's a heterosexual man and he is single and you're not unattractive, if you're average or above, now we already know telling women or asking women to rate themselves and be honest, right? What Kevin said, fresh face in the morning, no makeup. If we ask them to be honest, we already know they're gonna give themselves a point or two or three or five. We already know, but okay, fine. If you're average looking or above and you put the vagina on the table for a single straight man and he doesn't take it, and he doesn't have a terminal disease and he's trying to spare you, if he doesn't take it and he's not Christian, celibate, or virgin, and he doesn't take it, there's something wrong with you. Or like Demetrius said, he's saying you're not worth the trouble. Huh? And you know that got to bruise their little ego. Oh, because it if we know it bruises some men's ego, you know it shreds women. That's why women don't approach. That's why women don't do things to overtly get a no, or get a I'm not interested, or get a I'm not attracted to you. So you know when they do, when they get rebuffed, that hurts their little feelings, right? Oh, absolutely. And Demetrius says, and then here comes, oh, he must be gay. Of course, because it's never them, right? And it's exactly what you said. Either he really don't f with you, or he thinks you ain't worth it. And when we say you ain't worth it, it really is, you're not worth the trouble. Like, being in any type of situation with you is not worth the trouble. That's what we're really saying. It's not that you don't have any worth, because before women hear some other thing. Is that being in any type of situationship, sexual relationship, friends with benefits with you, being in that situation with you is not worth the trouble that it's going to eventually bring. Inevitably, we're going to end up in a messed up situation, and I just rather not. Right? Huh? So yeah, y'all. So y'all check it out. Check out the and I timestamped it. Y'all check out the link in the description. Um, I checked out the conversation before the fact, meh, but definitely after that timestamp I put up, I put 39 and some change. The conversation really gets into the good stuff. Around the 43, 44 minute mark. Um, but once again, yeah. This is what they sound like when they're amongst friends. And I knew eventually we were going to get some of these streams because, by the way, remember when FD spoke about being in community with some of these people? These are the people he's speaking about. These are the people they share a group chat with. These are the people that um what is her name out of Britain? That's South African. Her face is right there. Kidology. Kidology was speaking about like when she was like kind of sad that like it felt like FD was gonna bring her into that friend circle and he didn't. and he said it like, yo, I don't want you to bring harm or make people in these circles feel a certain way. And he's talking about the Herbies and the Quaytans. So I knew they were in I knew these people were in group chats and messenger boards and all this other stuff with each other. I knew they were. And now they're letting you see some of just a teeny bit of what some of those conversations look like when they're texting each other and whatnot. And remember, FD told me he went back and forth a little bit with Bowser. Yeah, because brothers like y'all let her get away with way too much misandry, and now y'all trying to reel her back. No, she knows how to intellectualize her misandry for the white upper class and upper crust. Those white female Ivy Leaguers. She knows how to. Bowser knows how to intellectualize her anti-black misandry in ways that sound like she actually saying something. Huh? And Leon says FD would never talk to an American black woman like he talked and played camera games with Kidology. Of course not. A lot of Negroes was raised up. Look, man, let me once again, y'all know who these men really are when Big Mama step in the room. Whole lot. I'm telling you, brothers like foreign man in a foreign land, big swole diesel brothers. All that I am man, hear me roar. Yeah, they do a lot of shout out to the Raj report. Exactly, they do a whole lot of flexing on other black men. As Raj said, a 5'8" brother have no problem squaring up against a 6'3" tall brother, and he don't got no fear in his heart. And this 4'11" sister walk in the room, and everybody turn B. Huh? Particularly ADOS. Or to be honest with you, any black woman that grew up in an American context. So I agree with Leon on that one. And if he did pull that, all she had to do is do this one time. Leon, tell me I'm lying. Boy, somebody tells Z he lying. He would have did it one time. She was boy, and that would have been it. No, my bad. No, the camera fell. Exactly. There's a whole lot of black men that have no problem wagging their fingers at other black men. But they get real soft spoken and that they lose that bass in their voice once black women start speaking. And got the nerve to talk to us about patriarchy. Man, if you don't get your lame ass. Huh? Anyway, so on that note, y'all, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I don't know if Dr. Thunder is still streaming. He might be, so y'all check him out. The Raj Report is streaming. He should be streaming at this point. Y'all check him out, and y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Go touch grass. Go live a real life, because apparently we don't. Excuse me. As FD said, Negroes is lonely. Mr. Z is in a relationship. Many of us are married. Many of us have kids, right? Maybe even a couple of us have grandchildren. We're in relationships, etc., etc. So on that note, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Right? And Mr. Z out. All right, y'all.